The Angry Chicken is a production of Amove TV. Bookmark amove.tv for more gaming and esports shows. The Angry Chicken is directly supported by listeners like you via patreon.com/TAC.
Hey everyone! Get in here! Ready for action! I've got the beast in my sight.
A podcast about Hearthstone, Heroes of Warcraft. This is the Angry Chicken.
Greetings and welcome back, travelers. It's another episode of TAC. I'm Garrett Weinzerl. I'm sitting here with Jocelyn Moffat and Willie Dills Gregory, and we are coming to you one day earlier than usual because 2/3 of this here podcast will be traveling to Salt Lake City, Utah in 1 day's time to enjoy Nerdtacular and weep about the fact that all 100%, 3/3 of us is not in attendance. Damn it, Dills.
Yeah, unfortunately, I won't be there this year, but it's, things happen. There's just too many things going on all at one time, and just didn't happen. But it's okay. I'll see everybody at BlizzCon, I'm sure.
Yay!
You better not get my hopes up that I'm gonna get to hug you and touch you inappropriately in public, and then not come to BlizzCon as well.
Nerdtacular is literally, there's only one reason to go there, but to go to Anaheim, I could find other reasons to go that direction, so I can fit more things in and make it more. You know what I mean? It's like this was like, if I'm going there, it cuts everything else out that I might be doing, and doing Anaheim, I can also go to San Francisco, see my family there, and all that. So, it's hard. It's hard to get out to Utah every year. Yeah,
excuse me.
It's not a destination I head to on my own.
I lived in Southern California. It's not that easy to get to San Francisco from Anaheim.
No,
well,
but it's a cheap
closer.
extra flight. You know what I mean? It's like one more little tiny 2-hour flight. So
That's very true. It is also a lot easier than getting there from Utah.
Yeah.
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 Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, but anyways, that's why we're recording early this week. This episode is going to be different than usual. We're going to do a little bit of news chat, and then we're just going to take your emails. That's the show. Bunch of emails. So user-generated content, also known as lazy podcasting, coming to you live from the Angry Chicken today. But before we get into that, we have a sponsor at the top of the show that we would like to remind you all about, and that is .game domain names, which we have mentioned on the show before. If somehow you haven't, if this is your first episode of the Angry Chicken, and you're like, what the hell is .game domains? It's literally that. It's like whatever your website is. Whatever your website is, .game. There it is. Dills, I'm sure, is checking in the background to see if that is available, because that's what he does every single time we pimp .game domains. But they are sponsoring this episode of The Angry Chicken. Still a relatively new domain name launched in May of last year. Many of the best names are still available. And if you were not able to attend E3, where Uniregistry and .game were out with their, they had their booth there. They were giving away special codes, but they have codes now for our listeners who could not make it out to E3. If you use the code E3 2017 GAME and use it at any of their participating domain registrars over at get.game, you will receive $75 off of your purchase of a .game domain. So there you are. We saved you all of the trouble of traveling to E3 and the subsequent con crud. You're welcome.
Exactly. And you get $75, so.
Yeah, look at that. I didn't. That one is not available, but DumpsterLegend.game is available, which is where I'm playing currently on the Hearthstone ladder. So.
Wait,
but I'm very proud of
man.
myself. I reached Legend for the second time, so it was a good month. Good Hearthstone month.
Good for you, man. Good for you. We're so proud of you. And it was funny too because I saw your tweet, and then the next morning I was listening to our buddy Mike Romo on Twitter be like, "Man, I'm so done with Murloc Paladin. My God!" And I'm just like, two things. One, we talked mostly about that deck in the most recent episode, and two, I think Dills hit Legend with it last night, so the talk ain't gonna stop on the Murloc Paladin.
No,
I thought you were going to reference the "What does a legend player eat for breakfast" tweet.
Oh yeah. What does a legend eat for breakfast? Yeah. This morning I had eggs and toast or something.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was. Yeah. It was nice to know that that it wasn't just like a one-time thing where I got lucky or something. Like, oh no, I could actually do that. Okay, cool. So now it feels like, it's like a known quantity. If I want to, and I play a good deck only, I will get to Legend eventually. So.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
and now I get to meme it up. Meme it up the rest of the month.
Oh man! Before we get into the news, we will still be doing a live Angry Chicken from Nerdtacular. I don't believe it will be streamed. We will get it up on the feed after the fact. Don't worry. I'll do my best to get some video as well, though I can't promise that. But if you're going and you're curious when, it looks like I have confirmation now. I just checked my inbox. We're going to be slapping that sucker in between two panels on Friday. So 5:45, we'll be on the side stage doing a live Angry Chicken with Justin Robert Young, and I'm going to do my best to tranquilizer dart Terpster in the neck and drag him over, because I'm sure he'll be wanting to eat, because that's the only break to eat. So if you're going to Nerdtacular, come to the side stage at 5:45. Come see a live Angry Chicken with guest hosts, and bring us food, please, because we're skipping dinner.
Spicy chicken would be awesome.
Spicy chicken would be awesome.
It would go with the theme.
Yes, anything chicken based. I'm also a fan of. I have been known to survive on bourbon for long periods of time. So keep that in mind. Now let's get into it. This week's Hearthstone news.
Good news, everyone!
Hey, so I know what you guys are thinking. If there's a big Hearthstone announcement, you should announce it from Ben Brode's stairwell. Right? Yeah. I love this. I love it. I love that this is how Ben Brode does videos, and I also love that. Wasn't it like a year ago we were talking about how they mentioned they were going to set up a studio for recording videos, and I don't
Feels
care.
like it was about that long ago.
I'm not ripping on him. At this point, I would be sad if we got a Ben Brode video in any other locale. So, yeah, so we got an update. It's the top news post on the official Hearthstone site right now, which is so funny when you go and watch the video. But things are changing in regards to opening legendary cards in Hearthstone. So starting with the release of the next expansion, and also applying to all cards, the next expansion is just when this change will be pushed to the game. Every time we open a legendary in a card pack, it will be guaranteed to be a legendary card from the same set that we do not already have in our collection.
Yes, correct. So if you own that card, you cannot open that legendary card again in a pack, which is really nice. It's a huge, this is going to change all those people who got really upset because they got two legendaries and they were both like the Druid quest in Ungoro. And this is good. This is kind of like good all around.
That was actually the duplicate I got, was two Druid quests. I was reminded.
Oh, geez.
Today.
I don't even remember the duplicate. I think it might have been Spirit Singer, because I know is I got a duplicate legendary and it wasn't even a playable legendary. So I was just like, oh.
Yeah, I think we all opened at least one duplicate legendary.
Yeah.
So
Well,
it's just nice that that's not going to happen.
There are two truths there, Jocelyn. One, that there's, always a high chance of getting a non-playable legendary no matter what the set, but also that Ungoro had more legendaries than usual, and a lot of them were unplayable, so it increased the amount of unplayable legendaries you could crack.
Yep.
Yeah, out of the neutral legendaries, really just the least kind of made it out, right? And then everything else was, here's two good quests and a few good class legendaries. But yeah, this is not going to happen anymore. This is great, and I think almost universally people were happy.
I was going to say, I'm pretty happy about this, and I couldn't see a downside, but I'm sure Reddit found a downside. So Dills, what the downside is?
people were already, so basically the downside that some people were mentioning, which I think is just the dumbest thing ever, is they're saying, so I don't have any chance to get a golden legendary of one that I already own?
Get out. Just get out. Get out. You're ruining it. You've ruined Christmas. You've ruined Thanksgiving. You've ruined the 4th of July. You've ruined Hearthstone. And you've ruined the human race. Can we just get excited unanimously about something? Damn it!
This is just stupid. So this is true. You cannot open a gold legendary of a legendary you already own unless you've completed the entire set of legendaries for that expansion, right?
Exactly.
That being said, if you were going to open a golden legendary, you would just get one that you don't have. So it's not like you just can't get golden legendaries anymore, or it's somehow decreased the chance of golden legendaries. You just get one that you don't already have.
Yeah.
And guess what that means? You can disenchant it for whatever legendary you did want, and that's you get whichever one you wanted, right? It's just better. It's just 100% better.
And you're not spending a whole lot of dust crafting things that you need, right? You're not disenchanting duplicate legendaries and then only getting 400 dust for them and then going, so I need 3 crappy ones to make one good one. Well, you just have a higher chance of getting a good one now.
First, I can understand a little bit from just the completionist aspect. Whatever. Maybe you're out there and you really wish you could get a duplicate that was golden because maybe it's a card you really like. I get that, but at the same time, I think this is so much better that I don't care about that at all. It doesn't even register on my Grumpy Gus radar, and I have a very sensitive Grumpy Gus radar. Okay.
Yeah. Well, here's the other thing though too. If you have a legendary card you really want, one of the worst things that used to happen, and I've heard this, we've been doing the show for a while, I've heard this many, many times. I finally just break down and I go craft Dr. Boom, and then guess what happens? 2 weeks later, I open a pack and there's Dr. Boom.
Right.
Yeah.
That's never going to happen anymore.
It's
so
gone.
You can, at will, craft the cards that you need, that you think you really want, that you want to play, and not have to worry about then suddenly down the road opening that and just feeling like you wasted that dust. That's just not going to happen
exactly,
anymore.
Because it's based off of what's in your collection. It doesn't matter whether you opened it out of a pack or if you crafted it. If it is sitting in your collection, you are not going to open that legendary until you have every legendary from the set.
And also, you're not opening enough golden legendaries that this is a thing that's actually going to happen so frequently that you're getting screwed out of golden legendaries. You're still getting golden legendaries at the same rate. It just literally won't be the one that you already have.
I have opened two in my lifetime of Hearthstone.
I was going to say, I think I've opened 2. I opened the Black Knight, and I think I opened one other one, but I can't even remember which one it was. So it's not something that happens all the time, because we open a lot of packs, guys.
I opened those Dormu.
Yeah.
I immediately disenchanted him to recreate my Shaman deck from beta. And then I opened Ronin, and I still have him to this day, even though I don't play him. Because Ronin. Or it's golden.
That's an interesting thing that you just said, though. I opened a Nosdormu and I immediately disenchanted him, right? One thing I will say is you probably don't want to do that going forward, right? So you're going to get a bad legendary. Just hold on to it, because
it ups your chances at the good ones.
You're not going to get that bad legendary again, right? So there's definitely some things that you got to consider, and it changes a few things, but it's still better to make sure that you, instead of just getting the 400 dust for that bad legendary that you instantly disenchant and then happening to open that same one and getting only 400 again, you now have a chance to essentially get 1,600 dust worth of legendary you want, and just hold on to those ones until you're kind of done opening packs from that expansion, right?
I mean, I think there's an argument for it if you get a golden that you don't want, because that is a lot of dust that could go anywhere
you
else.
should probably disenchant a golden one that you don't want and get one that you do want.
Yeah,
but
then as to non-goldens, I think I'll be holding on to them until I am almost 100% sure I'm never buying another pack from that set again.
Yeah.
So it's just the ultimate takeaway, though, really, when you look at it. And there's also one more little bit to this, is that you'll never open in a single pack more cards than you can use in a deck. So you'll never open 3 of the same common. And this isn't something that happens all the time. But it does happen.
The only time it happened a lot, I feel like, was with Mean Streets of Gadgetzan, but that was the pack bug.
That was the bug.
I definitely have gotten 3 of the same common in packs before.
Oh, I have 2, but it doesn't happen all the time. I think the only time it feels happening consistent. It does feel bad, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how many times it happens. One time is it feels bad, right? So, and over the course of millions of packs being opened every single expansion, or however, I don't know exactly what the numbers are, but I'm sure with 70 million active players, there's millions of packs being opened every time. It's going to happen a certain percentage of the time, and that's just not going to happen anymore either. So, the grand takeaway is, it will take you less packs to complete a playable collection of cards. Right. And somebody actually did the math on Reddit, and it does. So you might tend to think that the more packs you open, the less this affects you, but it's actually a little bit kind of reversed. There's a certain point where it doesn't matter anymore. There's the Kriparian level of pack opening where you're just going to have all the cards
regardless.
because, yeah.
Yeah.
But there's like a certain level, like if you're trying to complete the entire set of cards, and in an expansion that had like 130 cards, the math dictated that it was something around like 300 and something pack, like 330 packs or something like that. And somebody did the math before the next piece that we're going to talk about, by the way. So that it's even a little bit different than this. But it was going to cut down on the total number of packs by about 40 if you're trying to get the entire collection. And that's like saving you $50. If you're an entire collection guy, well, you saved one purchase of packs, essentially, right?
Yeah.
But if you're just trying to get, to be able to play a couple of tier 1 and 2 decks and things like that, it's not going to like help you a huge percentage, but it certainly ain't hurting you, right? It's certainly still getting you there like maybe 5 or 6 packs faster. And that's something that matters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is the most minor change in here, but it's not hurting a damn thing, and I'm totally fine with it.
Yeah, but so the other thing, though, that's pretty important is the 10-pack rule, right?
Yes, yeah. Beginning with the release of the next expansion, we are guaranteed to get a legendary within our first 10 packs of a new set.
Yes.
So it's like a pity timer within the pity timer?
So here's how I think they probably coded it. They probably just, because the pity timer is 40 packs, right? That's kind of what you determined. I think basically what they did is they just moved your pity timer up 30 packs so that you're basically like you're already at like 30 cards into your pity timer so that by the 10th pack there, you'll have it, and then you'll start your normal 40-pack pity timer like right after.
Okay.
So it's like you just kind of move the whole thing forward 30, and then now it's like you're just at the tail end of your pity timer, and then you start the next cycle, right?
So
if you open it on
you
the
can't,
first pack, you'll have a 40-pack pity timer from the second pack
from there.
on.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because that's got to be like the easiest way to code this, I think.
Yeah.
If I think about it logically. But
Unless,
the
because
thing
doing
is-
like some sort of like nested pity timer or something would be like crazy.
Sure. But
Yeah.
the thing is like this is going to make it so that within, like you don't have to buy a whole bunch of cards. Let's say you can only afford 10 packs each expansion. You'll at least get one legendary now, like guaranteed. And that's nice. It's going to make the whole experience just feel better for everybody. So I think I'm really excited to actually just see how this all feels, because right now it's all theoretical, like what we're kind of assuming this is going to mean.
Yeah.
But I guarantee you there's going to be less ranting and raving on Reddit after this next expansion.
Well, yeah, because Professor B makes a really good point that the pre-orders at 50 packs is basically now you're guaranteed 2 legendaries, because you're going to get your 1 in the first 10 and then your 1 in the next 40. So it's like exactly what you're going to get out of your investment then. So people have got to feel better about that.
It's
like you're going to get 2 and you might get 3. Feels pretty good as opposed to, okay, I might get 1.
Yeah.
If I have crappy pity timer luck.
Absolutely. And you can get very lucky and open even more than that, and your name will be Jocelyn. But
So Midnight Bomber in the chat just asked, it's a pity timer for a specific set. It is, yeah. Each set basically has its own separate pity timer. So, if you like are still opening packs from an older expansion, you have like a separate pity timer there. So it's just within 40 packs of one set, you'll always get at least one legendary in there. But the chances are you'll get more. I mean, honestly, you will get more. I generally get, I think it's like 4 or 5 or something per 40 or 50 thing. So that's like average results, average expected results. But some people get really unlucky and then they get none. So now at least the unluckiest people will all get 2 out of 50.
I can live with that.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I mean, I think this is part of the thing that I've talked about on the show a little bit, which is like give people a little more and they'll spend more money. Like give them a little more for free. I think this is going to cause people to be like, oh my God, I'm just a few cards away now from making good decks. Whereas before they thought I'm not even close to making good decks. So screw this game. So that's going to be big. I think they're going to make more money, not less, based on these changes.
Yeah, I think that it's going to be the thing that's going to push, because Chatroom's also saying the 2 legendaries you get are not duplicates, right? So it's like if I know I can just buy the pre-order 50 packs and I'm going to get 2 legendaries, they may or may not be usable, but I know I'm going to get 2 non-duplicate legendaries. If I'm someone who either feels like I'm a very unlucky person or has been on the fence in the past, I feel like that would push you over the edge to be like, okay, yeah, this expansion, I'm going to try it and see how it feels. So yeah, I think you're right, Dills. I think that this kind of stuff is what they need to do to get people to give them more money, even if it means giving people who spend like 330 packs, now they're only going to get 290. Like, they can take the loss there because they're going to get it on all the other people that they get to jump on the Hearthstone money spending bus.
Mm-hmm. We should also probably give people a little bit of a pointer here. If you have packs right now, don't open any. Don't open any packs until the next set releases, because this doesn't only affect the next set. This is going to be for every single set that's exists currently and going forward. So right now, if you have some packs from Tavern Brawls and you still have some missing classic legendaries, hold on to those packs. Because you might get them.
I might finally get my Deathwing.
Yeah, exactly. Like you'll finally you won't open, because I've probably opened 4 Tyrians at this point, and just in all the classic packs I've opened through Tavern Brawls and whatnot. So.
I was gonna say I've opened so many King Crushes. I feel like Hearthstone just knows that I love Hunter stuff, so they're like, "Here, have the Hunter Legendary." I'm like, "No, that was bad stuff at Hearthstone."
I think I've opened.
I know it sucks to hold on to packs though, because I already have like a couple of packs, and I'm just looking at them
it's just sitting there, like,
man,
that little number, and you just want to
all
make
my
it go
arena
away.
packs. After you do an arena run, like opening the pack is like part of the thing. Right now, I do the arena run, and then I go, all right, there's a pack in the collection. See you 2 months now.
I wish you could do it like red emails. So like you go in and it says like you have 10 packs, and you could just like hover over them, get rid of the little blue circle thing telling you that it's a notification, it's new. It just goes away, and then there's no little number on your home screen anymore. Like without actually opening the pack. That would make me really happy.
Sure. Yeah, here
little
is,
OCD with those notification numbers.
Yeah. If you have like legendaries from older sets too that you were kind of worried about crafting because you were just like, what if I open it? Now you can just go ahead and craft it. Like just craft with impunity. Now that's I think the most beautiful thing about this.
Yep. I think I've opened 3 Ragnaroses, and both Ragnaroses I've actually played. I've crafted Ragnaros twice. Once to play him because I didn't open him for a long time. Then I think I opened 3 over the course of history, and then I crafted a golden one before he went to the Hall of Fame.
Oh, because of Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Gotta have a golden Ragnaros. Come on.
So there was a tiny one other thing that isn't really news, but I guess we could just mention it because it's on Reddit right now, and that's that Ben Brode did comment on a Reddit post saying there will be an announcement of an announcement soon. So he is announcing the announcing of an announcement.
It's about time to start getting teases for the next expansion. So
this happened 5 hours ago, apparently.
What was the Reddit thread about? I did not see this.
Just, it was asking when the next expansion announcement was going to be.
There you go. There you go.
And he said, all right, I'll announce that I'm announcing an announcement soon. So, I don't think we're really pushing up against, like, it doesn't feel like, why hasn't it happened yet? Like, no, it's the actual expansion is going to be like in another 2 months. So.
Yep, well, we'll sound the Ben Brode announcement signal. There it is.
It's coming.
Also, we're getting the Greater Crater promotion, which they announced in alongside these legendary changes. Basically, it's a sale for all intents and purposes. So we're spending the same amount of money, but we're getting more packs. It's not a discount on the price. So basically, we're getting extra packs for the different bundles. If you buy a 7-pack bundle, you get 2 packs. 15 packs, you get 5 extra packs. 40 packs, you get 12 extra packs. And if you buy 60 packs, you get 18 extra packs.
But don't open them right now.
Yeah, but this is. I think that there's 2 reasons for this. One is it's just like another little thing to add on to this one big announcement of okay, we're changing the way pack openings work.
Absolutely.
The other thing is it's going to incentivize some people to, because maybe people are going to say, oh, well, now that I know this, I'm not going to buy packs until this next expansion. So this might incentivize people in that little meantime to still purchase a few more packs. Yeah. And it is a good idea to go ahead and do it. If you're still missing a lot of Ungoro cards, pick up something and then wait until the next expansion and open them all. And you'll have, it's almost like you'll have in the middle, that when that new expansion hits, you'll probably have a really nice collection if you're still missing a lot of stuff. So
yeah.
And I think you do have to actually buy the bundle, right? You can't just like buy 7 packs with gold and get 9 packs. Yeah, so you have to buy the bundle. Yeah, so it's money, it's not gold.
Well, we haven't had a pack deal except for pre-orders, right? So
right.
And the really starter pack.
The starter bundle thing.
Yeah, starter bundle. Yeah. That was it. That was it. I'm still surprised we haven't seen like pre-built decks. I cannot believe we've gone this long and we haven't seen pre-built decks added to Hearthstone. Not that it's something I'm direly in need of, but it just seems like
yeah.
Par
I feel
for
like
the
we're getting
course.
closer to that stuff, though. They're finally starting to get to some of these quality of life things that just have taken forever. Now we see the deck importing function and all that kind of stuff. So here's a sale. Here's changes to how packs are opening. It's like they're knocking them off the list, and we got to be getting close to other stuff like that.
Right. But in other news, we have taco winners. A taco did wrap up this weekend.
That's right.
So congratulations to, everyone that came out. Congratulations to our random winners of some gift cards. But also congratulations to second-time champion Dice.
Yay!
I believe
he played really well. He had a good
repeat
lineup. Really strong control paladin deck. We cast the top 4, Garrett and I. So we saw some pretty interesting games, and we actually saw in the finals, the first time ever in the taco, a tie. Game number 2, they tied.
No way.
They had a draw.
Yes.
Eye for an eye tie.
Yeah,
Wow.
so eye for an eye and was put up by a paladin against the mage with ice block up, and the mage was at like 3 health or something, or 1 health, and the paladin was at 3, so he frostbolted him and they both died. So they had a whole nother regame. It was crazy. Like at that point, we had played 2 games that were both like 30 minutes long.
They weren't 30 minutes
Score of
long.
the match was 1-0 at that point.
They were 30 minutes long.
They
Yeah.
were really long. though. They were
Congratulations, Dice. Congratulations to our runner-up, Rock Chris, who also played some amazing. There were some really good games in those finals. They were it was surprisingly riveting. I was just sitting there being like, man, I just saw a draw. Take that, Seat Story Cup. No one's seeing that over there. Or maybe there was a draw and I just didn't see it. I don't know. The emails incoming. But yeah, totally flipping awesome. Also, if you're waiting for your winnings, I'll be getting them out after I get back from traveling. So, sorry.
Yeah, it's good. It's good stuff going on. But it was great. The tournament was run a little differently because I know Joss in the past had been running it, more stringently. So it took a while at first for people to kind of get used to we're getting let off the leash. 'Cause there's a lot of people
We have to report our
they
own
kept
things?
asking questions. I was like, guys, I believe in you. You can do this. And then there was 1 or 2 mistakes early on that we had to deal with, and then it went perfectly. So thanks everybody who was playing in it for really grabbing the bull by the horns and running with it. It was, I think it went really smoothly, and it didn't take that long, which I think was always kind of the concern for some people. They want to play in the taco, but they're like, man, I can't come for 8 hours and play Hearthstone. I think we wrapped up the whole thing in about 5.5 or so, which I think is about right for a 68-person tournament or whatever it was. But yeah, you guys did great. You got everybody who played, you did great. Anybody who hasn't played in it before, come join us for the next one. We're doing the random thing too, so even if you don't believe you're somebody who can win and get to the top 4, there's a chance you're going to walk away with something too anyway, just for being there. So
yeah, which is I love that change, Dills. That was such a good idea to kind of just randomly reward people for showing up. I think was a really good idea. On top of, obviously, we still had the pint glass. Don't forget
the pint glass is the real prize. Yeah. But I know I've heard
for showing
from people,
up is nice. Yeah.
I've heard from a lot of people that they're nervous to come because they think they have no chance. And I just want to tell everyone this is the perfect place to come and just kind of, if you're not used to tournament play, everyone's going to be nice to you. It's not a super high stress environment, so that's kind of the whole point of it, right? Is give you guys back something, allow the community to play with each other and everything. And that's exactly what we got. It was great.
It's the most relaxed atmosphere you could probably try and go play a tournament, short of being there in person where everyone's just able to be like
a fireside chat.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're nervous, there's no reason to be at all. If you've ever been even remotely interested in tournament play, I highly recommend trying out a taco. So thanks again to everyone who came out, and thanks to our patrons for supporting that. Now, before we move into our mailbag segment, we have another sponsor to thank. We are here to thank Harry's.com for sponsoring this episode of The Angry Chicken. You can go to harrys.com/TAC to go and check them out. They are, of course, the makers of quality razor blades, which you can use to shave your face, or if you're Dills and I, arms, shoulders, other unsightly.
It's summertime, dude. I gotta get my summer bod on, and part of that, cut some of this hair down, dude. Yeah, I don't want to, maybe a little bit of my back. I need help with that, but I got when you go into the pool every day, you gotta look good. My Harry's razor does it all.
My father, who everyone thinks is a mixture of Bruce Willis and Walter White, shaves his head frequently. I
really?
recently gifted him his Father's Day Harry's gift set, and he is thoroughly enjoying it.
Nice. That's actually a good look when you become like an older man. I have a friend of mine who is like, he's like 10 years older than all of us growing up, and he started going bald, and now he started to do completely shaved. I'm like, man, that looks good.
It does.
I think that's the way to go.
I mean,
my roommate does it too. He started losing his hair at like 18, so he just gave up and shaved his head.
And don't pick it, Harry's it. You know what I mean? That's way better.
Don't pick it, Harry's it. I believe they're still testing that catchphrase. I believe there's legal issues with that. But
you can have that one, Harry's. That's on me.
But hey, anyways, they have an offer for listeners of the Angry Chicken. As we said, we're big fans of their blades here. They are so confident, however, in the quality of their blades that they want you to try their most popular trial set absolutely for free. Comes with a razor handle, a 5-blade cartridge, and a shaving gel, which is free when you sign up. All you have to do is pay a small fee for shipping. So go redeem that offer at harrys.com/TAC right now and get your face and extraneous body parts in shape for the summer. Now
works on legs too.
Yes. I have walked into the bathroom multiple times and been like, "Hey, I know I had another refill. Where'd it go? Why is it in the shower?" Oh,
Katie,
you wife of mine, stealing my lovely, lovely razors from Harry's. But anyways, let's move on and take quite a few emails.
Hello.
Hello, it's me.
Hello.
Just quickly, do you get my message?
Yep.
Oh.
Hello, brother.
You can send your emails to tacpodcast@gmail.com. Pete starts us off this week and says, "Hi, permanently petulant poultry. I found this video of the Anaheim Convention Center expansion on YouTube, and it looks amazing. Blizzard are now selling more tickets because they will be expanding into the new hall. What do you think this means for the convention?" I think this means one of the stages that gets shared between multiple games is going to get alleviated a bit. Mm-hmm. Or my other thought is we're still going to have to share, and the Overwatch stadium's just getting a lot bigger.
That could be. That thing was amazing.
Is Hearthstone the only game that's just not doing their championship at BlizzCon anymore? Everyone else still is?
Everyone else is still planning to, as far as I know.
I feel like they should all just move that out of BlizzCon and just, just turn BlizzCon into what it kind of
used to be,
like what it was. Yeah, because now it just feels like a big esports, like a giant esports tournament, right? And that's fine too, because I do enjoy watching the esports. But I honestly always feel like I need to be at this place because that finals is going on and I'm going to miss it, and then I'm not somewhere else where if I just didn't have that feeling. Like, it's going to be alleviated pretty big because of Hearthstone not being there, right, this year.
Yes, yeah, because that was, a big time sink for, I think, all of us. But it was, we felt like we had to watch Hearthstone, but there were so many panels going on, and we missed so much.
I always miss out on all the WoW stuff and all the other stuff because I'm watching esports, and I think, just BlizzCon is just be like a celebration of the games, a place where you play the new stuff and you, talk to the devs and you see your friends, and not necessarily a place where you, like, sit and try to find a seat at the Heroes stage.
Well, there's no way they're still not going to have a Hearthstone esport event, right? There's just no universe. They already have. Well,
they'll
have
like a Challenge Stone or something,
right? Yeah. Or I mean, do we even know the schedule that far out? There could still be.
We don't usually see the BlizzCon schedule till like a month before.
No, I meant for HCT. Could there be an HCT event at BlizzCon?
Oh,
I mean, yes, but I think the idea was just to move it out.
Yeah, to get it out of BlizzCon.
Yeah.
But there might be, because I think they said this year they're not quite lining it up. Like, it's a little bit different because it's the transition year. So next year it'll be a little bit better. And so I'm wondering maybe it might line up then, because it'll be like a spring, summer, winter. So maybe the winter one will be the one at BlizzCon. I don't know.
Oh my God. I'm actually looking at this video right now. This is adding so much space.
It's a ton of square footage.
Crap.
So
it's right next to the big stadium where StarCraft is.
Right. Yeah.
Across the way a little bit.
It's
just
removed.
like as big as that.
Yeah, it is like quite removed from the convention center, but as you said, yeah, it's right next to the arena, and it's going to be connected by a hallway just like the arena is if you've ever walked in there. And if you haven't, what's wrong with you? StarCraft is the most amazing esport in the world. Fact.
Do you think StarCraft is still going to be in that big hall though?
As long as Mike
I hope
Morhaime
so.
is the president of Blizzard Entertainment, StarCraft is going to be in the arena.
Mm-hmm.
I think it still should be. It is the game that works the best on that giant scale like that, I think, and it's always as popular as anything else.
Actually, you know what? Come back to me after the Overwatch League finally gets off its butt. I could
That's
see
what I
that.
was thinking.
Yeah.
Overwatch was like literally you couldn't even get into it last year. It was so popular.
Yeah, but
they were lines at the door and stuff. So I
Yeah.
wonder if they might move that into a bigger space. Although with Hearthstone not being there, then they might be able to put Hearthstone in the smaller space if they're just doing a little for fun tournament and then put Overwatch in the bigger space. But still, if anything was going to unseat StarCraft, it might be Overwatch.
I think in the years coming we'll see that. I don't think we're going to see it this year because Overwatch League is still not. There's nothing going on. It's going to be the World Cup again from last year. They've gotten out ahead of it a little bit sooner than they did last year. But yeah, I don't know, man. It'd be weird not to have StarCraft in there, but I would totally understand if it was unseated by Overwatch in the coming years. I don't care. More space just is good. I would certainly like.
Well, it lets more people go, right? So there's like a third block of tickets. That's huge. More people at the convention is only going to be good because that's just so much more money, right?
Yeah, and also if this just alleviates space in any of the other rooms so they can include more damn computers.
Yes.
So people can play more games, faster queues. All of it's great. Although it could get equaled out because they're selling more tickets, which is perfectly fine because there's going to be more space to deal with the influx of people. Although it will make finding a seat for the opening ceremonies even harder.
Yeah.
But overall, I mean, I can't think of anything bad for this. This is just exciting. I'm just sitting here like, ooh, what are they going to do? There's so much space. Like you said, Dills, there's so much space. What are they going to do with it? It can't be just one esports stage, right? Unless it's...
I wouldn't mind seeing like a vendor area for people who do stuff Blizzard related because they've never really had that. It's always just their own thing.
It's their own store. Yeah.
It's so compact around just Blizzard. And it's, and yeah, we go as media people and all that kind of stuff, but I like going to conventions and seeing like, oh, this is a guy who makes Blizzard whatever, like something related to Blizzard or just like that kind of stuff, or just more spaces for community type events, right? That aren't put on necessarily by Blizzard, because what we end up doing is what we're already doing now, which is put everything in like the hotels across the street and everything, rather than being able to kind of like rent a space within BlizzCon itself. Which wouldn't that be cool if we could have our Frog Pants A-Move party like, in a room inside the convention center? That would be amazing.
Yes, if they let us in early. No, if I have to skip other things in BlizzCon to run a booth.
But I mean, we already have to, and we have to leave the center and go do it somewhere else. You know what I mean? Like we got to go to a bowling alley and stuff.
It cuts down the amount of like potential advertising and new eyeballs on the stuff that we're doing, right? Because it's like where we've been recording our live Angry Chickens is like up on the third floor of the Hilton, down the hallway on the right. Like it's very.
You're trying to tell people how to get there, and they go,
and they're like, wait, what? How many elevators and an escalator or two? Like what?
But what if people were just walking by and there was live podcasts going on?
Yeah, and they were like, oh, what's a podcast even? Like I think that could be a really great marketing tool to grow the community. So.
And they are doing more stuff with community members being part of their Blizzard panels, right? Like Scott did some stuff last year. Like Chanman was doing some stuff.
So did I. Thank you very much.
So, what's that?
So I was on that panel, you jerk.
Oh, yeah, you too. Exactly. Yeah. I didn't go to it, man.
I know you didn't.
I was like, whatever. But like, that stuff has already kind of the seal's been broken a little bit, right? So maybe more space for that type of thing. Rather than only things for like artists and devs, you could have community member panels that aren't necessarily tied into like, oh, we're going to have you guys interview Blizzard people. Like it could just be you guys, right? Could have just been you and Chanman asking or answering questions. Would have been cool.
Yeah, absolutely. But whatever the case is, that's probably that's going to be the biggest unknown this year, I think, right? Because other than unless they blow our socks off with some announcement that we weren't expecting, but going into BlizzCon, that's what I'm looking forward to seeing the most. So, anyways, moving on. Dills, who's the next email from?
Let's see. BJ says, hello, raging barnyard fowls. BJ here. I'm a semi-new player, and while I have enjoyed playing Standard, the legacy Magic player in me wants to get into Wild. I do love the new Standard decks that will pop up, but in Magic, I love the fact that no matter what was going on, I could always dust off, combo elves, fish, or sneak and show, and be competitive in Legacy. Outside of Pirate Warrior and the Reno decks, what would be a good choice to invest my dust into for decks that can stand the test of time, or at least be stupid fun all the time?
Shaman.
Pirate Warrior is probably Pirate Warrior and Reno stuff are probably going to exist forever in Wild. But yeah, Shaman, control Shaman, where you could play like the N'Zoth and the Reincarnates with like Sneed's old Shredders and stuff.
Shaman just in general, man, because the more cards you collect that work in that, you open the doors to so many archetypes because of the insanity that was Shaman for like the last year and a half. I think they're always going to have a foothold in Wild. And always have the chance to make something happen with a new influx of cards because of the broken crap that they had to begin with.
Sure. Yeah, when you get Tunnel Trog and Totem Golem back, yeah, yeah, that's pretty good. I also think you could do a lot more stuff with like Freeze Magey, Milrogi type things. So if you're looking to have fun and have like weird win conditions, the combo decks are kind of the way to go in Wild now too. Like with Freeze Mage, you can still OTK people, right? Because you get Ice Lance back and you get Emperor Thaurissan back and stuff like that. So
I do keep forgetting things like Ice Lance weren't actually taken out of the game. Like I keep forgetting that they're in Wild. Like it feels like Hall of Fame is just not in the game anymore. I feel like the cards and sets that rotate, they're still in my head, but for some reason the Hall of Fame cards, like even when I was playing Wild a little bit last month, I was like, I'm playing Wild, and then someone drops the Sylvanas, and I went, what? I thought she was out. Oh, wait, I'm in Wild, right. Hall of Fame is actually still here.
Yeah, the Azure Drakes, those are definitely still awesome for the 5-drop. But yeah, I think mostly like if I were you, BJ, I would go for like the combo decks that sounds like kind of your jam. Is that you like to do cool things that are hard to pull off? If you like, legacy Magic stuff, combo decks. That's kind of what went away, really, in Standard, at least for now, right? The Thaurissan going away was huge.
Yep.
I remember I was
kind of
watching somebody's stream, and they were saying, I can't figure out like a fun deck right now because I don't have Thaurissan, so I can't come up with like weird, wacky combos anymore.
Yep. I think you could also go with some of the more like really overpowered things that led to the rotation of Standard in the first place. So if you go with Dragon stuff and Thaurissan combo stuff, or with Death Rattle stuff, that's also like, it's not like they only put Death Rattles in next, like they're consistently making more Death Rattle cards. So that's going to be something that can really evolve over time. So something along the N'Zoth line maybe would be cool.
Oh, Reno N'Zoth Priest is crazy and wild. I love it. It's so ridiculous.
Yeah, you can do the Awaken the Makers, or you don't even need to.
Yeah,
you don't want to. It's just still powerful.
I think what we're landing on here is that Wild is exactly that, and you should kind of embrace it. And it's a very personal choice. Go and I would just pursue whatever you think will be like fun. And if you have anxiety and you really need to know what has a chance of winning, go and look up some tier lists. Go and look up some stats, but. All in all, I would do whatever makes you the most excited. That's certainly what I go into Wild for. That's where I play things like Druid and Mage, because classes that just never really clicked for me in Standard. So I get on there and I just go Wild with those classes.
Yeah, Is there anything that you should kind of avoid in Wild? I guess Hunter, you can do like an Undertaker Hunter type of a thing.
Yeah, Hunter's hurting, man. Just overall, I think across the board.
Yeah, they're not as fast as other people are now, which is weird to say, but
it's very.
And then Warlocks are fine in Wild though, because they have the whole Reno Lock thing, which is still stupid powerful.
Reno Lock, and actually Zoo is still okay because when you get things back like Implosion and stuff, suddenly those decks get a little more powerful. But yeah, I don't know. It's still going to shift over time, right?
Yes.
And the one thing is that if you need to be ready to play against the fastest decks ever, because they're just going to keep getting faster. I'm hoping that Blizzard stops adding 1/3s that grow. on turn 1.
But Dills, everyone needs a mana worm.
No, I think they should take mana worm away from mage, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like I think just make that a 1/2 that still does the same thing it does now. It's just so crazy because you sometimes you play that and then you just win. And they kind of rotated everyone else's out, and mana worm's just going to be there forever, I guess. Yep. So that concerns me a little bit. But like the little 1/2 Murloc guy who grows, he's fine. He's a 1/2. You kill him, he makes a good trade. But the 1/3 is it's a little nuts. So, but like that's the thing. It's like that, those types of 1-drops and stuff, and how fast decks can move. That's just gonna always kind of stay really, really quick and wild. So you need to be prepared for that. So Ultra Control combo, or just be fast yourself.
Yeah. I'd also recommend if you haven't already, attend some firesides or even just hanging out with your local friends that play Hearthstone. If they have some of these older decks at their disposal, ask them to play on their account on the Wild Ladder. Take them out for a spin. I mean, this is how I figure out decks in Magic that I don't want to go and buy the cards for. So there's no reason why you shouldn't try the same thing in Hearthstone. I mean, BJ here is, I think, in a really kind of unique place as a player, where he's interested in Wild, but he didn't come up through Hearthstone since the beginning. But he also has that knowledge base of just how cool a format in a card game can be, where every card is legal, because he's come over from Magic. Like, that's a super rad and unique place to be as a Hearthstone player. So I think moving forward, BJ, I think what you're going to find is as cards that you like get moved into Wild, that you'll be like, oh, these are the ones I want to keep around, much like you keep your your tested and true Magic decks. You always just have them there if you ever want to break them out and play a friendly game. And I think I'll end up doing the same thing with Hearthstone. That's certainly what I did with Secret Paladin for the longest damn time, until I just could not play it anymore. But but for right now, I'd say if you can test something, go for it. Otherwise, just pursue whatever looks interesting to you. So, next email.
Agreed.
Jocelyn.
It comes to us from Chris T. He says, hey, tech humans. Twitch drops are giveaways that developers do on Twitch for people who are watching streams streamers that are playing their game. The best example is what Bethesda just started doing with Elder Scrolls Legends. Once you've linked your Twitch account to Bethesda.net and you're watching someone playing Elder Scrolls Legends, you have a chance to get either 600 gold, 1,500 shards, or a legendary pack. Once every 24 hours. This has increased the viewers of Elder Scrolls Legends by a lot. Using IMCVH as an example, he used to get around 600 to 800 viewers, but now he's at about 1,300 viewers easily. I was thinking this would improve Twitch viewers, which is an issue that we talked about a couple weeks ago, I think. Thus helping streamers and helping with the feeling that Hearthstone is expensive all the time. I think that the drops from Blizzard could look something like 200 free dust, 150 gold, or a pack. Blizzard could also use up the drops during championships or for a week when a new expansion is launched to help promote whatever they'd like. Do you think this is something that Hearthstone needs, or is it a waste of time? I think we're all going to fall on the give us more stuff, that's always good train. Garrett and I think we were talking about this earlier on today. So Blizzard has done this before, but it's definitely been like a one-off. Like if you watch the Warcraft Arena, you get a title in WoW that says you're Patron of War. They gave away the Power Core card back in Hearthstone for watching the BlizzCon events. So they have done the whole partner with Twitch thing before, but not on a consistent basis like what you're talking with this whole like one reward every 24 hours. So I think it's a good idea. I think it'd be great. Anything that kind of drives more interest to Hearthstone, I think, is a good idea.
Yeah, and they did just announce a partnership with Twitch, where Twitch is going to be the only place to watch their tournaments, which pretty much was already the case. But now it's this big kind of...
I think they've just decided that they're not going to do that whole like ESPN, Facebook, YouTube, everything they've kind of experimented with. I don't think anything went really well. I know like there was times I was watching Heroes and it was like 400 people for like the finals, and I was like, this is dumb. It's
because it's on Facebook and no one freaking uses Facebook. You got 398 grandmas, hoping to see, I don't know, their grandson on the screen, and then two like hardcore that are like, fine, I'll give in and watch on Facebook.
Yeah. So
I think the other thing about this too, though, is that they have done something like this. If you think about the pick a winner and then earn packs type of thing, for BlizzCon stuff, you know?
Oh, true. Yes. Yeah.
But
Not tied to Twitch,
yeah.
but just giving stuff away. Yeah.
But I love the idea of just helping out just people who are just streaming your game, right? I think that's just what, like, the biggest takeaway to me here is that it's this kind of symbiotic relationship, right? Between the people who stream your game, and especially, you know, there's some people who stream their game, and I'm surprised how much Blizzard seems to support them when they also crap all over the game that they're streaming while doing so. And yet still somehow they get invited to special Blizzard things. That surprises me, but this, I think, also then allows not the like bigger streamers to benefit because they're playing your game.
It benefits everyone, right?
Yeah, anyone who's streaming your game.
Yeah. You have once every 24 hours, and I would imagine it wouldn't matter. It wouldn't be like per stream, so you couldn't just hop from stream to stream. It would be like once every 24 hours, your account has a chance to get a buff. Or a buff. A prize.
But, you know, it's like the thing of, like, the more time I spend watching Hearthstone, the higher chance I get type of things, or the better my reward is. Like, all that kind of stuff is actually, I love this idea. I had not heard this idea. I haven't played Elder Scrolls Legends in a while. There's just too many games now that are trying to compete for my attention, and Hearthstone obviously takes the most of it. But now that now that I know about this, holy crap, I'm gonna give this a go. I want to see how this actually feels.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
I have nothing to add. There's no reason they shouldn't do this. This is why. Like, give me an anti. Anyone have an anti? No, you don't, because there's no reason not to do this. No reason at all. Like, I know last week we spent a lot of time saying how, like, it's fine. This happens every time. It's not a big deal, but that doesn't mean they shouldn't try and help numbers anyway. Why not? What's it hurting? What's it hurting?
Exactly. Yeah, and if you can keep the lulls from being less big, right? The right now we're in the downturn or whatever, the mid-season between expansions kind of lull, and if this gets people to watch a little bit more, then that's, you know. Yeah.
That being said, I think just with 3 expansions this year, the lull's already not going to be as big, because there was a big lull between the 2 main expansions. We saw from the graph that Kibler posted and what we talked about last week that the adventure releases did very little to increase viewership. Yeah,
exactly.
But anyways, moving on. That sounds rad, by the way, Christy. Yes, please. Thank you. Next email comes to us from Dino himself. It says, greetings, consistently cantankerous clucksters. After listening to episode 214, I got to thinking about the boredom that some players can feel between set releases. In my eyes, there are plenty of ways that this could be alleviated, and yes, I'm talking cards. How about a tavern brawl that gives you a few new cards instead of a pack? Garrett mentioned just give them to us. I think that's too easy. I want to earn them. They shouldn't even be craftable. I take so much issue with everything you just suggested. It's not even crazy. There's so many holes there. Anyway, I'll finish reading. But they should be unique, right? I'm suggesting neutral spells. Everyone gets the same cards, and they should just help enrich the meta, not shake it up drastically, i.e. give me a spell that removes 1 counter from my opponent's quest. It doesn't kill any of the quest decks. Most of the quest decks are already dead in the water already. Dino?
Well, this would be very much like Taunt Warrior, Mage, and Quest Rogue, right?
Yeah. You're targeting 3 classes, mostly 2 with this. It just lets you breathe for a turn when facing them. Little course-correcting spells that you aren't going to build a deck around, but can be another tool in a cooling meta. Thanks again for the show. Please never stop. Okay, so first off, like, let's forget neutral spells. Let's tackle that in a second. First off, like, I don't take issue with wanting to earn the cards, but if you tie it to a tavern brawl and also make it so you can't craft it, and they don't do something new and weird, that is less than a week's time you have to earn cards that you cannot craft. That's insane.
Yeah, you should be able to get them at any time. I don't mind the idea of having to earn them. I'm actually totally on board with that, rather than just like, here's some cards, especially if they're going to be a tiny set, right? You know?
Earning dust is earning the cards, though, right? Like, you still have to get that dust from somewhere, so you still have to put some effort in.
But I mean, I like the idea of, like, do a thing, earn some cards. What I don't like, I don't like the idea. I know, like, I've heard this from a bunch of people now. I don't like the idea of a mini expansion for a few reasons. The cards have to either be really strong or they actually don't do anything, right? They won't go anywhere if they don't specifically
if they aren't
like,
super powerful,
replace something that's already kind of in the meta, right? And the whole beauty of releasing a new set is you can also release kind of new synergies. And when you release a tiny amount of cards, they have to like synergize with something that's already there, or they have to stand alone, be really strong, and it kind of shakes things up in a really weird way. The other thing too is then you are kind of now forced to only release neutral cards, because unless I'm releasing one class card per class, it's not going to be a mini expansion anymore, because suddenly it's some class cards and some neutral cards. I can't give one card to one class, but other classes don't get a card, because that just makes things awkward too. So then it's again like, okay, well, if I'm getting Mage something, I got to give Mage something like really good, or else Mage doesn't just play that card. It's just things get wonky in a way that I don't like. I like it when you just get a bunch of cards that shakes everything up, and I think that's why I'm more of a proponent of the give us other features, give us a way to play the game differently, not necessarily cards as being our only way to shake things up, right?
Well, and it seems a little bit odd too when you think about like, where are those cards coming from? Are they fixing a problem that Blizzard sees like ahead of time? In which case, why didn't you just give us the tools to deal with the problem when you released the original expansion? Or are they cards that, Blizzard didn't see the problem coming, so their development was rushed? Or Blizzard thought that maybe it was going to be a problem and they were planned to come out in the next expansion, so then they're just rushing them out ahead in that way? Like, it seems like something about little mini expansions just doesn't feel right.
I mean, mostly for all of the issues both of you just brought up, I think the biggest thing is just how do you release a small amount of cards and make it feel even outside of just making it neutral? And the only thing I can think of, and I'm doing my best to devil's advocate here. I don't really want this either. I would much rather have just more ways to play or see balance changes like we have in the past, because I personally really enjoyed those. Yeah. They do a lot to shake up the meta and help kind of jump the gap in the lull. But I could see an argument made for things like Galaka Crawler. Like if those type of cards like get added, those things that we look at and we're like, oh, that is a knee-jerk reaction to a part of the meta that the community has been outspoken against. Adding counter cards. I don't like counter cards. I know Dills is the biggest fan in the world, but if you're gonna add cards, those are the type of neutral cards I could see you adding and actually maybe find their way into a deck. Coming back around to the neutral spells, I could like the one card Dino here suggested, which is removing a counter off of a quest. That could work. But you need... It
would have to be a body like Galaka Crawler, though, right? Like, play this and then... Because otherwise it's like a dead card, and then it's not a spell anymore. So...
Right. Or it could be a spell... I mean, I guess like draw a card and remove a counter off of... I don't know. You need to give you something...
like a flare type of card, yeah. But but here's the thing that's going to happen. You're going to put that card in the game, and it's not going to be played ever, and then you didn't do anything. You know what I mean? That's really the issue. That's the thing I was saying. Like, it has to be really strong, or else you introduce 5 cards or whatever, and then nobody plays them.
It needs to be, I think it needs to be attached.
And then what was the point in releasing them in the first place?
Yeah,
I think it needs to be attached.
So that's the trick. That's the trick.
I think it needs to be attached to a body. I think you're absolutely right. But I think that'd be the one direction I could see it going. But then it's strange because if you set the precedent to release cards, what if the next extension comes out and we get to the lull and we're like, well, something should happen, but we don't really need counter cards because everything's kind of working out okay. Like, I don't know. Here's a new form of a wisp just because we said we'd release a card. Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I like the idea of just kind of balance changes plus any type of like little formatty things, like things that they want to add to the game that aren't related to expansions, that they space those out with expansion releases. Because I think we're all kind of on board with the idea that Dino himself is presenting here, which is that in between expansions, there's always going to be this little period of time where people are a little bit bored of the game, even no matter how good the expansion is. And I'm definitely, I'm in 100% agreement. Exactly. And I still really love it, but I definitely have noticed that, and maybe it's because I played a lot of games and got to Legend this season, blah, blah, blah. Like, and I didn't do that last season. I got a little bit more of the fatigue of that going on right now. But I think we're all on board that there's room for something in between expansions. What that something is, I think, is really the trick. What do we find? Like, what is that thing that's right? Because it can't be, oh, we release tournament mode, because what do you do the next time? You can't release tournament mode again, right? Like, it's got to be little changes each time, you know?
Yeah. I wonder if this is the place where their single player content belongs. Like, just giving people something else to do. Like, whether it rewards cards or not, just possibly, like, just gives people another mode, something else that is going to come out in between expansions. So you get, like, 2 months with your expansion, then a month to play with your single player content, then you ramp up to the next expansion. Yay. And then that just is the cycle that happens. And whatever they're planning to do with the single player content, instead of releasing the expansion and the single player content at the same time, you know, just split that up a little bit, and then, you know, you have more interest throughout that cycle.
I feel would limit their design scope with the single player content, though, because if you want to include new cards that I'm sure they want to in the single player content that ties into the expansion, it's going to be pre-made decks, because they're not going to give us cards. And if they're not going to do that, then they're going to be designing single player content that is playable with currently existing cards, and that's I don't think plays into the expansion feel very well at all.
Yeah, it's tricky to find the perfect answer here, but there's something there. There's something there, and I hope Blizzard starts at least toying with it, right? I don't care if they get it right the first time. But let's start toying with stuff. You know?
Yeah, just play.
I'm still a big proponent of theme your pool of cards for Arena more. Like, why? Just swap it up more. I still go back to the pre-GVG launch Arena event was one of the coolest damn things they ever did in the history of this game, and they've never repeated it.
Yeah.
Real quick, Ninja Bob in the chat. I'd like to see a Dirty Rat card for spells. Dirty Rat is already like a counter card for minions. If you did that card, though, it would have to work like pull a spell out of your opponent's deck, have it cast on a random target on your. You can't just like kill their spell, right, with a minion.
Yeah.
It has to be random enemy
here,
target,
I've
right?
taken your. It has to be a terrible body, right? Like, because the thing about Dirty Rat is it actually gives you a really good body for 2 mana.
Yeah.
But this like potential terrible drawback.
Yeah, it's potentially totally punished.
Exactly. Yeah. So if you're just taking a spell away from them, that's 100% good. So, but if you're pulling the spell out, then having it get cast on something, like what if the body
you could
of
accidentally like pull out Power of the Wild or something, and then oh shoot, now my opponent's whole deck is whole board is buffed.
Yeah. But what if like you pulled out a fireball and then it just cast it on one of like something on your side? But it, you know, if the body of it was like a 2/7 or something like that, then you know that's different. And then someone in the chat said counterspell. Counterspell doesn't have a body tied to it, so that's just different.
And also, it's
only one
specific.
class.
It's secret.
And it's secret. It's made specific. It's not a body.
Yeah.
But what if it was like a 2/7 or a 3/7 for 3, like a really good body, it pulls the spell out and has a big cast, but it doesn't like die to a fireball. It just gets damaged, right? There could be something there. I could see it. I like that idea a little bit.
Just
it does potentially take away combo things, and that's kind of the idea behind the Dirty Rat, right? You have to already be a class that feels like you can absorb that kind of stuff, you know? Yeah. So it would be wacky for choose ones, but they already have choose ones happen with Yogg and stuff. They just
chooses
chooses
first
one
option.
for you.
Yeah, I think so.
I kind of like it. I kind of like that idea actually. Now the more I think about it.
Thank you, Dino, for making our gears turn. Thank you very much. Well, I think it's going to bring us to the end of this episode of The Angry Chicken. Hoping to see many, many of you cluckers out at Nerdtacular. I'll be there this Wednesday. Joss will be there this Tuesday. And, of course, Nerdtacular starts up Thursday. Looking forward to seeing a lot of folks out there. Send your emails, again, to tacpodcast@gmail.com. And, of course, we got to thank our patrons over at patreon.com/TAC for supporting the show. We have so many bosses. You're actually nice people, which is... Oh, I've had bosses in the past. They're not listening. I've had terrible bosses. I've had terrible bosses. I really have.
Even if they were listening, they're not your bosses anymore. So who cares?
It's a very good point. Like some of them were nice, but just bad bosses. And then others were just terrible people. But. Anyways, thank you to our patrons over at patreon.com/TAC. If you enjoy this here podcast and you want to support us, that is the best way to do so. Big thanks to our producers, Declan H., Peter Williams, and our latest producer, Michael N. And also on this episode, thank you specifically to Tom C., Arden N., Brad, no last name given, Dave S., and Lee M. Thank you all very much for the support. It helps us a ton. In fact, getting out to Nerdtacular is helping me quite a bit. You can follow the show on Twitter at TAC Podcast. We have shirts available at shirts.amove.tv. If you want to get an Angry Chicken t-shirt, that is the place to do so. And you can also buy some awesome custom etched glassware at etched.amove.tv, made by Angry Chicken listener Johnny O, who is also making the one-off pint glass for our Dice, who is going to have 2 pint glasses now in his collection. But go and definitely check that out. No show, obviously, tomorrow, because we did it today. And then next week will be the 4th of July, and there will not be an episode, but we will be posting the live episode from Nerdtacular to help you survive a tackless week. So that's going to do that. Dills, where can folks find you when you're not tacking?
Well, I will be here instead of in Utah, so you will see streams at least for like the weekdays. So twitch.tv/Willie Dills, and then I'll be out of town during the weekend, but I might be able to pull some streams together there too. So just, come check it out. A lot of Hearthstone, a lot of PUBG, some memeing on the Legend ladder, all that kind of good stuff. And on Twitter at Willie Dills. Check me out.
Jocelyn, how about yourself?
You can find me on Twitter and Twitch. I'm at Joss Plays, and there's links to everything that I do at jossplays.com.
Fantastic. I am Garrett Art on Twitter. Every podcast I do is at amove.tv. Check out mostly car stuff where I talk cars. Check out Into the Nexus where I talk Heroes of the Storm. And there's plenty of other things over there. Go check it out. But mostly come see a live Angry Chicken if you're going to Nerdtacular. That would be most excellent. We look forward to seeing you there. And that's going to wrap it up for this episode. Have a safe holiday, since I won't be talking to anyone until after July 4th, all that stuff. Don't blow your finger off with a bottle rocket. That's no good. No one likes
Please
that.
Don't do that.
But feel free to singe your friend's butt with a Roman candle. That's okay. That's all in good fun. So until next time, job's done.
Job's done.
Job's done.
Yeah!